Okay, so this is the modification video for the cyma cm048m. All right. This is cyma makes a lot of AKs. They make all kinds of variants. They're probably the biggest producer, and so if you want to buy a gun that has lots of parts available and you can switch it around, they're the one to go to. Today I'm going to talk about this one right here. Okay, so this is the AKM. By the way, this is the manual that comes with it. It's pretty basic. Okay, so first I want to talk about what my intentions were with this gun and what I call the philosophy of use. All right, I wanted a gun which was playable outdoors, not a CQB gun, so it was going to shoot around 400 FPS. And I wanted something that would shoot a lot of BBs and basically act as a support gun. So that's basically the philosophy of use, a DMR or / support gun. All right. So what did I want? I wanted a AK gun. I wanted wood. Okay. I wanted full wood furniture. I wanted to be able to mount an optic on it if I wanted to, so I needed a rail. And the only way to get a rail on the only proper way on a AK is you have to have this side mount. So the let's see if I get this off. So it has to come with this, basically. You could put this on aftermarket, but it's very hard. So you have to order when you order AK, make sure you get that side mount already included. All right. So that allows you to mount an optic. In this case, I have a laser. I'll get to that in a minute. The other thing I wanted is I wanted a lot of space. Now, if you have a folding AK, you're kind of stuck as far as batteries go, because then you can only use a long tube battery. I wanted to be able to put a big lipo in with a lot of voltage, so it goes in the stock. All right, and the only way you could get a plastic one, which has a little more room, but the wood there's a lot of room in the wood stock. The other thing I wanted was I wanted a lot of range, so you're going to get that because you got a nice long barrel on this. It's 455 millimeter. I mean, this is a long barrel. It's just a big gun in general. Okay. And what else did I want? I wanted a fast rate of fire. Now it's got a pretty decent rate of fire when it starts out, but you do have to upgrade it if you wanted to shoot really fast. And then the last thing I wanted the AKM version versus the AK-47. There's a few stylistic differences, but that's just a personal preference. All right, so next is what did I do? I used the gun stock, and it works really well stock. I mean, there's no reason you can't just buy this gun and play with it. So the first thing I did was I added a MOSFET. So let's go. Let's take off the scope again. And let's open up the compartment here. All right, so I took all the wiring out and I rewired the gearbox, and I added the MOSFET. So when you rewiring the gearbox is very simple, just replacing the wires. And since you're in there doing that, it's very easy to add the MOSFET here. And I took out the barrel fuse and I added a smaller blade fuse. This is just I think this is just more commonly used in most guns now. All right, so that made the gun fire a lot faster just to begin with. Then, since I was working on wiring, I changed I took the fuse, moved the fuse up here because before it was in the battery compartment. Now the battery compartment is normally accessed by 2 screws that go in the end, and you have to have a screwdriver, you unscrew them, and then you remove the plate, and that's how you put your battery in. So what I did, I didn't want to be taking a screwdriver every time I wanted to open it up. So what I did was I basically took the screws and I glued them in place and I cut them off. And then I put magnets here, okay? Let me show it really close here. What I've got, okay? So that basically just goes together like that. It just wants to pull itself together, all right? So they're magnets, and the magnets with the posts hold it pretty well together, all right? You can also see I put Dean's connectors. This comes with the cyma connectors, and I changed it to Dean's because, again, we're trying to really up the rate of fire. So this is a huge battery, and this is basically what I use in any big guns I have. So I'll pop this in here. I'll show you how this goes in. And as you can see, there's still plenty of room. I'm gonna have this, I don't even have it shoved in all the way, and I have plenty of room. And then this goes back over the end. It stays right on the end there, all right? So that is the basic wiring and the modification of the gearbox. Again, it's very easy to do because you have so much room, all right? All right, next I put in a Madbull type bore barrel, a flat hop bucking, and that's pretty much it for the the internals and the accuracy. Now, oh yeah, I also put I put a high torque motor in too. That was because I was having a little problem with the motor heating up. Since I have such a high discharge battery and the wiring is so low resistance, the motor was heating up a lot, and I ended up stripping one of the pistons because the rate of fire was so slow. Because the original piston was kind of low quality, so I ended up replacing the piston just because I had to. The high torque motor makes a huge difference, and it basically once you change your power supply, you really have to kind of change your piston. All right, so that's it for the internals. As far as the externals go, I basically just restained the wood. Very easy to do. All these pieces pop off. This back one just they're just screws here that comes in here. And these front pieces, they just pop off with little levers right here and here. You can look it up on YouTube. There's plenty of instructions how to do that, okay? Usual hop up, I left that the same. I also, this is you take off the rear sight, and then you can put this you can buy this little adapter. I thought maybe I was going to mount something else here, mount the laser, but I ended up just mounting the laser instead of using a scope, and that's why I use most of my guns. I use lasers instead of scopes. For me, it's just easier. Let's see if you can see the laser or not. Yeah, you get a really bright laser, and that basically serves as your scope, especially if you don't want to have to grab it and put it up to your mask, or you have a big mask. I wear a full face mask, so it's kind of hard sometimes. Let's see what else. The sling. This is an actual Russian surplus sling. You sell these very cheaply. Oh, and one other thing I really think is easy to do is shimming the gearbox. If you can shim a gearbox, you make this thing so much quieter. I mean, the gears are very good, but there's a lot of play. So, I mean, that's just because of the price point. They're not gonna make all that much effort to make the gearbox tight. All right, so this is semi, and it's about as fast as you can pull the trigger. And there's not a lot of gearbox whine. All you hear is the gun. He's filling up. So when you combine this rate of fire, this is a flash mag, so it's got this. Let's see. Little bottom opens up, and then you pull the wire. And this is at least 600 BBs. So when you combine this mag, and by the way, the metal mags work way better than the plastic ones in these guns. When you combine the metal mag, high capacities, and this rate of fire, that's what really makes this gun a good support weapon. Because you can really shoot a lot of BBs, and you don't really have to worry about reloading very often. And like I said, you know, there's no gearbox whine in this baby. All right, that's about it. If you have any questions, put them down in the bottom, and I'll, anything about modifications. And since I've taken this apart many times, I can probably answer anything. So just write a question down, and I'll try to get back to you. Oh, and last thing is, I didn't really go over cost. The base rifle is, is pretty good for airsoft guns. It's about $170, and you can play with that all day long. Once you start upgrading it, you're gonna probably break things. So you gotta jump in and do a few like I said, motor, battery, wiring, maybe your piston inside. Then you're in for another, maybe another $100 if you do the work yourself. And I have a lot of the parts lying around, like shims and wires, and spare motors or buckings. So if you have pieces lying around, it's not going to cost you much. And it's a really nice looking gun. Okay, thanks for watching. If you want to like and subscribe, you can. I already have like 3 or 4 subscribers, so I'm pretty set. And leave a comment. Thanks.